Good morning, Adam Nimoy.
Hi, Adam.
How are you, buddy?
Okay, Opie, how you doing, man?
All right.
Good to see you.
Good to
Gentlemen,
see you.
how
Hi,
are you?
buddy.
You got a nice smile there, sir.
Yeah, well, I'm just back from the Grateful Dead, so I'm still whirling and twirling in my mind.
Wow.
Are you a Grateful? You have to be a Grateful Dead fan if you went to the. It's the 50th anniversary or something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Fare Thee Well Tour, 50th anniversary.
Big Deadhead.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but yes, I am, and I had a great time. What can I say?
How do they sound?
They're pretty good. You know, it's a little uneven. I think they're still finding their sea legs. They just started this little tour they're doing.
I read an article over the weekend. I hear a lot of people needed medical attention because they think they could party and do their acid like the old days, and they were dropping like, dare I say, flies, but I did. They said they had a lot of problems. Did you see any of that?
I did see a little of that. I was on the floor dancing around and doing my thing, and there was a lot of guys in red and white, emergency guys coming in.
Probably guys that haven't dropped acid in a while or whatever, and drinking a little too much. And all right,
It was crazy.
yeah. Did they do drums in space?
They did. Yeah, they had a whole, Rhythm Devils drums in space thing going for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and
Yeah.
that was pretty intense.
I don't think Jimmy would be a fan of drums in space.
No, was that just just a drum solo?
It's
Yeah.
pretty much a chance for you to maybe go find some drugs or go get a T-shirt or a beer or go to the bathroom, in my humble opinion. I haven't gone to a lot of Dead shows in my life, but enough, and that drums in space always bored the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But other people say it's the most amazing thing. I guess it started because of people tripping. We will talk about your documentary in a minute here, sir.
That's cool, man. No
But
problem.
they did drums in space because everyone's on acid, so
Right.
it was the perfect music for that back in the day. But then they kept it going for their entire careers.
It's the music version of Fantasia, where it kind of sucks, but it's drugs.
Yeah.
And they got a whole screen going with all kinds of visual effects and psychedelic stuff happening. So it keeps you busy and keeps you occupied and keeps you in that zone.
How many times have you seen them?
I've seen them probably, I'm not a record holder. I've only seen them probably 35, 40 times, but it was during the 70s.
It's impressive.
Well, there's a lot, I had a son-in-law who went 100, 200 times. I mean, I never followed a whole tour, but I was in the Bay Area in the 70s when they were really happening.
No kidding.
Because I went to school in Berkeley, so I spent a lot of time with Jerry and the band, yes.
Wow.
Did you know them personally?
I did not. But when Jerry used to play at a club called the Keystone right off of Berkeley, and it'd be Tuesday night from 11 to 1. They wouldn't advertise. They would just put his name up on the marquee, and it wouldn't even be his name. There would be a pseudonym on there, and you knew, that Jerry was going to be in town. And there'd be 50, 75 people there. So, you get a real intimate kind of a club feel and really get to know what this guy is all about. It was a pretty trippy experience.
God, you went to all those Dead shows in the 70s. I bow to you.
Yeah.
I went in the early 90s, I think. Or mid 90s, not the same. They were still pretty good back then, actually.
Yeah, they were very good. But the 70s was the decade where they really found their crowd and were really, finding themselves as a great band.
You should do a documentary on that.
Well, it's been done. I mean, I'm friends with Justin Kreutzmann, who's Billy's son. Billy's the drummer of the
Sure.
band, and Justin's did a lot of documenting of them and is filming them now. So, yeah.
And is this finally it?
This is going to be it. I mean, they're going to play at Soldier Field in July. I think it's over the fourth weekend. They do 2 shows and they're done.
And that's definitely it. They're saying that is it.
That's what they're saying. But,
I don't know.
who
Come
knows?
on.
Who knows?
No way. Anyway, you're not here to talk about the Dead, but I find that fascinating that you're a Deadhead on top of it.
You want to raise money?
Yeah, you're raising money for the
Yes.
love of Spock. Your dad.
I am.
You got quite a bit raised already, too. This is not like you needed $600,000. That was your goal. There's only 60 hours left, and they have $544,000. So they basically need $56,000 more to make this documentary. And perks can include everything from digital copies of the film to Spock collectibles to a William Shatner autograph. So, I mean, and him and George Takei both kind of supported this and promoted it. And
Heavily, yeah. Those guys have both been really behind me. In fact, Bill Shatner's been tweeting, and I interviewed him last week. Very intense, very emotional, and he's been signing autographs for photos that we're giving away as rewards. So, and George came in for an interview too. Those guys have been really, really helpful. They're like family, and they've been very supportive.
You're cool with the fact that Shatner didn't show up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
He explained himself last week on the show. We personally, we love Bill Shatner here.
Good.
All right, we love the guy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can talk to him all day.
Yeah.
He's entertaining as all hell.
He is entertaining. He's been really a champion and has really reached out to me and supported me. I've had a number of meetings with him, and he had a lot of love for my dad. I mean, they were close friends and they had ups and downs like most relationships, but I don't know what the hell happened at the whole, memorial thing. But it's, it's behind me now because the guy's been so supportive of everything I have done thus far and my number one champion.
He felt like he couldn't get out of that. It was a corporate gig for a good cause.
For the Red Cross.
Red Cross, right. Thank you, Jimmy.
It was a charity gig.
It was a charity gig. You shouldn't even say corporate gig, right. So he felt like he couldn't back out of that, was what he told us.
It's okay with me, man. The interview I got with him last week was unbelievable. It's going to be in the film. Very emotional. A lot of information about his relationship with my dad, about his experience with my dad on Star Trek. So, he's been a big supporter of this whole Kickstarter campaign. We're just a couple days left in it. We're not that far away from our goal, and I cannot wait until we reach it, and then I can start to make the film.
Right.
What was it like growing up? I mean, obviously, with someone who's that iconic, he's not just a celebrity. He's one of the most famous characters ever on television.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. I mean, there was a lot of ups and downs. He, when he was making the series, they were on the set 14 hours a day, so it was kind of hard to see him, to relate to him. He was always in Spock character, so that was kind of a tough gig, trying to connect with him as a young boy. I mean, I had a lot of ups and downs with my dad, and he went from Star Trek right into Mission Impossible. That's 5 seasons of very intense TV.
Wow.
And then when they're off during hiatus, he's out working. My dad was a workaholic. He had a real strong work ethic, and he wanted to make hay while the sun was shining. He was worried that when that show was over, that would be it, and he'd be done.
Well, can I ask you, why was he in Spock character in the house? Was he like a method actor, or was that just...
That was his method, man. I'm telling you. That was his way of doing it. He talked a lot about that in his autobiography, that he had trouble slipping in and out of character. And they were always trying to joke around with him on the set and get him to laugh. And that's why they put the ears on me one day and cut my hair, and I came out of the turbo lift and kissed him on the bridge.
Oh, there's the photo.
Oh, there's the famous photo.
That's the photo, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
When you said it was his method, I saw you do the air quotes. So what were you guys thinking that was?
Well, I didn't know. I'm a kid, but since then I've been directing, and I know a lot about the artist process, and some people really have trouble getting out of that character. When the director says cut, Bill Shatner is right at the gags and the jokes, but not my dad. He just needed to keep reserved, and that was his way of working through the character, and because the character it's a difficult character. There's not a lot going on the page. He doesn't emote a lot. He doesn't, he's very circumspect about what he says, and so he's got it's an internal dialogue, and it does take a lot of concentration and a lot of thinking about how he's reacting to stuff.
Did your dad get along with George Takei?
Yeah. They got along. I mean, they were good friends, and my dad was very supportive of George, and in all of his functions and anything that George needed. His documentary, my dad was there for. They were very supportive of each other.
Because Shatner and him, not so much.
Yeah, that
not so
who
much.
can understand? I don't understand all the conflicts that go on. It's like I don't really get it, and that's not what the film about. The film is really to celebrate Mr. Spock and my dad.
The fans, they get into a show and then they just assume everyone just gets along. You know what I mean? When they truly were just cast for the part in the end, and sometimes maybe you get a friendship out of it, but But of course, people aren't going to get along, and they're going to butt heads and whatnot.
It happens. There was conflict with some of the producers. It was a very intense show. They had to make them in 6 days and turn in like 52 minutes, which is unheard of. We don't even do that now. I mean, it was crazy what they had to do. They're under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure. But the fact is that the chemistry is freaking there on the screen. You see it between Bill and my dad and DeForest Kelley. The three of them really made that show happen, and they were professionals, and they knew how to play off each other. And, I've been watching every episode to get ready for this documentary, and it's there. The magic is there. And who knows how it all happened. I mean, a lot of things are made of complete conflict. I was just reading about the Beatles' White Album. They were completely in conflict on that record, and it's a masterpiece. So,
no kidding.
Yeah, so, it's who knows what's going on backstage. The work speaks for itself.
Who do you think is the asshole in the Beatles?
John.
I'm guessing John.
You're going to go John Lennon?
Yeah. Big
It
time.
had to be John.
But like an asshole because he cares, or he's just like an asshole just to be an asshole?
Ringo was just happy to be there, so
It
he
had
wasn't
to
the
be,
asshole.
John.
Had to be.
Ringo was like, holy shit, I get to do this with these talented guys.
Just to bring Yoko in was a dick move.
Yeah, that was definitely kind of a passive aggressive. Look what I can do because I'm John and I'm a genius. Fucking
Right.
thing. Hey, what kind of ups and downs did you have? That's
Well, Well, the thing I want to tell you is that after 5 years of TV, my dad did 3 years of Star Trek and went right into Mission Impossible, another intense 2 seasons. And when he was done and when he was relaxed a little bit, he took a look at me, and I was 17, and it was not pretty.
Right.
It was not pretty. There was a lot of conflict. I was into the dead by then. I was into my own thing. I was good at school, but I was definitely, into a wild parties, Southern California lifestyle. This is a guy who grew up in the Depression in Boston.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's selling newspapers in the Boston Common at 10 years old. At 10 years old, it was, rock and roll and girls for me.
Can you imagine being from Boston and you fast forward, you have a Southern California kid?
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Oh,
It was not.
Man, what a different lifestyle that is.
Yeah, there were a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of conflict. And in fact, I talked a lot about the fact that about 7 or 8 years ago, we were completely estranged from each other.
Wait, of this 7 or 8 years ago now?
Yeah. We were we were not even really talking.
For how
to each
long?
other. For like 3 years.
Was it your fault or his?
It was, it was both. I mean, we both had our part in it. And frankly, we both had to go into recovery. I mean, he talked a lot about his alcoholism and, I was a deadhead. I mean, need I say more? I was just like, I had some substance issues and we had to do a lot of work on ourselves. And we're lucky that he was around for the third act because we spent the last 5 years really close and really in a loving relationship. Wow. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the film about the fact that it's, not too late to reconnect, but you got to do some work on yourself.
How are you doing these days?
I'm sorry?
How are you doing these days?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been clean for 11 years now, and, my kids have never really known me to be, inundated. Is all I can say. So it's been a good lifestyle. How long it's going to last, I don't know. It's a one day at a time kind of thing. And I just love my, I'm really happy with where I'm at right now. I got great kids, great family. My extended family is great. And I'm doing I think this is meaningful work that I really want to do. I directed 10 seasons of TV, and this is a great opportunity to create a love letter to my daughter says I hate love letters. It's too sentimental. Don't say that anymore. But it is. I'm making this film for my dad, for Spock, whom I adore, and the fan base, which has been very vocal and very supportive of this project, and they want it. And I think it's going to be a really nice tribute, particularly because we've got the 50th anniversary of Star Trek: The Original Series coming up next year, which is a real mind blower.
Grateful Dead and Star Trek same
got it.
year. That's
You got
pretty
it.
crazy.
Yeah.
Did you do any acting yourself?
No, my dad told me I had to go to acting class if I wanted to be a director to learn about the actor's process so I can talk to these people and know what their concerns are.
So you never really wanted to be an actor?
No. I mean, an actor is in front of the camera. That was never my thing. It was not something that I really wanted to do. A lot because of the fact that, celebrity, the idea of celebrity to me, having experienced it firsthand with my dad, was just not my thing. He was really good with the fans. He was really good in public. We could not do anything anywhere together without him being mobbed, as a kid, which was a real issue for me. We couldn't go to a restaurant. He took me to a carnival, at a church in the neighborhood. Immediately mobbed. Immediately. This is 1967. And that was just not, that lifestyle is just not something that was appealed to me, really. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to. That's why, actually, I'm a lawyer. I went to law school because I wanted to do something where I had a regular job and a steady job, which turned out to be completely, fallacious. That never really happened even as an attorney. But then when I wanted to do something more creative, and I was in acting class, and I was digging it, and I was really liking the work, and getting up there and doing the work and performing. But that was really a part of the process of learning how to direct and learning how to work with talent, and really wanted to be behind the camera.
How often do people see you and go, Adam Nimoy, you're any relation to? And you're like, yes.
Yes, I am.
Well, yeah. I mean, now it's fine. I'm totally cool with it. But when my dad and I were at odds with each other, it was like, I would have I'd have some conflict with my old man, and we'd have a knockdown, drag out. He was a tough character, my dad. And I could be tough too. And when the two of us were together, it was not good. We were banging heads, and then I would split, and I would go to pick up my laundry or something. And this is my book, My Incredibly Wonderful Miserable Life. It's in there, man. I would go pick up my laundry, and it's like I'm so pissed off. And the guy at the desk was like, "Okay, what's your last name, Nimoy?" Nimoy. Are you related? Yeah. Can I get my shirts? Oh, man, your dad he must be a great father. He saved my life. That guy is so incredible. He saved my life in college. You're so lucky to have him as a dad. Dude, can I just please get my shirts?
Yeah. He's like, here's your dry clean. Live long and prosper. Come on, blow me.
But, and then it was that way for a while.
But
That's not exactly what came out of my mouth, but it was that way for a while. It was a
Yeah.
little bit like, give me my shirts, man. So
And you directed on TV for 10 years? Anything we know?
NYPD Blue, Ally McBeal,
There you
Gilmore
go.
Girls, The Practice, Murder One, Babylon 5, Vengeance Unlimited, other shows that didn't quite.
But actually,
fly.
you and your dad had ups and downs and everything, and then you directed him in an episode of Outer Limits.
Correct.
So was that like
No,
you
that
guys
was one of
fighting?
the up moments. That
really
our
was?
up moment. Yeah, we had an up moment there, and it really worked out well. I mean, he really helped me out on that. He was starring in a role in a show that he had done in '62
Right.
before Star Trek. We did a remake, and he stepped up to the plate for me and helped me get that gig by bringing himself on board. Tying him into that project, and it was a really, really good project, and we had a pretty good time on it.
But was there ever a moment where he made a choice as an actor and as a director, you're saying, well, maybe you should do it this way, and you guys would?
No. I mean, he worked with me a lot. I mean, there were a lot of issues on that were not related to his performance issues, just to get the show done and get it done on time, and with the guest cast. But he was there for me on that one. He was really. It was there for me a lot lot of times, but there were a lot of times when we read it.
Where was your mom in this whole thing? With
Well,
you and
my-
your dad button heads.
Well, my mom was, I don't know, man. She just, she tried to, she had to stay out of it, which I was glad about. I mean, she felt bad about the conflict. She felt real bad about it. They divorced in '86, but in the '80s, the '80s were like the highest of the highs and the lowest of the low, the best of times and the worst of times, because he was directing Star Trek 3 and 4, and 3 Men and a Baby. But he was also getting divorced from my mom, and he was dealing with his alcohol issue. And that's when he and I were really slugfesting it out. It was really bad.
Wow.
Punching.
Well, not punching, but, nose to nose. Let me put it to you that way. There were a couple of nose to nose.
The Nimoy nose to nose.
Who reached out to who,
like a sex
in
act.
later life?
We reached out to each other.
Okay.
We just waited, and we were patient with each other, and he got better, and I got better. We did a lot of work on ourselves, and then I was with I was divorced at that time, and I was seeing somebody who was really nice, and she would kind of help bridge the gap between us, and that's the weird thing, I mean, when I got divorced, I didn't even call my old man because we were so at odds. That was 2004, but then that girl who kind of brought us back together, I married that girl, and then a year and a half later, she was gone from cancer.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the first, when she was diagnosed, the first person I called was my old man. He was my go-to guy during that whole period. Him and his wife, Susan, my stepmother. I don't know how I made it through that 18 months. It was not good, and they were there every step of the way. My sister was there, and Martha, my late wife's mother, was there to help me, and it was my dad and Susan every day asking me what I needed, what they could do for me, bringing me food, and they were incredible. It was absolutely. I was so lucky I had him. I mean, I'm telling you, my first phone call when I found out that she was not going to make it was to my dad, and he was completely supportive.
Did you know immediately? Did they tell you, or did they give you to say, well, it's possible? Or like from the initial diagnosis, did they say it's not going to
The
happen?
initial diagnosis, when I was with Martha, they said, you got to go to treatment. This is what you got. That's what they say. Let's see how you respond to treatment. The guy who diagnosed her was a guy I knew. He was a soccer dad, and I knew him. And a couple days later, I called him and I said, I want to know now. I don't want to hear this bullshit about, let's see how you respond to treatment. He said, she's not going to make it. Her tumor's too big, and she's got lymph nodes involved and all this other shit. And, and then I said, thank you very much. I broke down in my car. I was in a parking lot, and then I called my old man.
Oh,
Damn.
my God.
Yeah, I called my old man, and he said, where are you? He was at dinner with my uncle, his brother, and I said, he said, where are you? I said, I'm in a parking lot in the marina. You don't even need to come. I just need to tell somebody, and you're the guy I chose to tell.
Wow.
Cue the Grateful Dead music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell her that you knew that or no?
Yeah. Happy
She didn't
song
want to know.
right now.
She didn't want to know. She didn't want to know.
That's horrible.
Were you grateful that he told you the truth, or do you wish you hadn't?
No, I was grateful. He told me. I wanted to know, man. I mean, the girl was sick, and I needed to know. And I'm the caretaker. I'm her. I just married her 4 months prior. And it's a heavy trip for a caretaker. I mean, a lot of people out there know what I'm talking about. It's a real, and I went to a group with a bunch of husbands who had wives who were dealing with this issue, and I needed a lot of support. It's a really, really, it's tough on the caregiver, and if it's your spouse, you're it. And I stepped up to the plate because I really loved that girl. I had 3 years where we weren't dealing with that issue, and she made me really happy. And she was kind of the catalyst that brought my family back together.
And since her, have you found anyone else, or are you like, is it too hard to replace?
No, Jim, I'm on the market, man.
Okay. Well, me and you both. How do you feel at hookers? Because I love them.
Sometimes they look really good.
Oh my God!
When you were younger, were you able to use "My dad is Spock" as a pickup line, like when you were in high school or younger than that, or did that ever get you laid?
No, I don't think it ever got me laid. I never really publicized that that I'm the son of Spock.
Right.
That was never my. I mean, I did that once in Hebrew school, and like the class went berserk, and I was like, okay, I'm not freaking doing that again.
That was it. What kind of memorabilia you got from the Star Trek days?
Well, I managed to hold on to. I'm a collector. I wish I had more of these. I have a dozen original scripts that my dad used in the production that he's got notes on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great. I have a dozen of those. And I have the last pair of Spock ears he wore on the original series that he kept that I managed, that was given to me. So I have those.
Where are the ears right now?
Yeah, I know. Where are the ears right
Where are they?
Where are they right
know
now?
how many
They're in a
people-
vault, man.
I would assume.
They're in a Swiss vault.
I would assume they're in a vault. 'Cause, man, as far as collecting goes, that's a biggie.
Yeah, that was a big
Do you
one.
have
much were
anything from
those-
In Search Of? Because that was my favorite series. I loved them in that.
I was about to say, of everything your dad did, I wasn't a huge Star Trek fan, but I was a huge fan of In Search Of.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
That Bigfoot shit and the Loch Ness Monster. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Nothing ever got solved, but it was
No,
just such a great show to
It was
watch.
his voice. It would creep you out, too.
Yeah, that was a great show. That really kept us actually going in the 70s because when Star Trek was over, he needed a gig, and he did a lot of theater work, but that doesn't really pay the bills. But In Search Of was really consistent. He liked it because it was kind of challenging. We did an In Search Of Vincent van Gogh because he did a one-man show.
That's right.
About Theo, Vincent's brother, and we went to the south of France. We were in Amsterdam, kind of retracing Vincent's steps, and that was a really great episode. My dad it was very interesting for a guy who had very little formal education. He had a very fine mind, and he was, hungry for information. He was always interested in different things and kind of in search of, even though there were some shows that we call placebo that were just kind of, filler shows. There were a lot that were really interesting and fascinating and challenging, and I think he really enjoyed it.
What was a filler show? Like, what was it? I'm sure I'd seen it. What was it In Search Of?
I don't even remember. There's like, the afterlife stuff. It's like, I mean, come on, man, really? But there were a couple of those. But it went for several seasons, and it really kept us going and kept him going and kept him able to pursue an artistic career. That was the thing about him. He was very hungry to challenge himself, and the theater work he did was freaking mind-boggling. I mean, he did Equus here on Broadway, and that blew my mind completely. He was so good at it.
Bermuda Triangle, that wasn't a flaw. Let me see.
Yeah.
Bigfoot is good. Killer Bees is good. Earthquakes. The Mummy's Curse might be one. Martians. Psychic detectives. There you go. All right.
All the alien ones creep me out as a kid. Because In
Yeah.
Search Of seemed like everything here is real.
Dracula.
No,
Oh,
Dracula.
wow.
Yeah.
What was up with 3 Men and a Baby? How did that come about? That seems so
stepped
weird.
in. Yeah, that was a weird thing, man. That was such a confluence of factors that happened together at one time. The director who made the French version apparently got sick and bowed out of that movie. So my dad came in to kind of pinch hit the thing.
Wow.
At the last minute. And it was just perfect. Everything just worked. He got a decent script that he was able to work on in time. He had a great production crew in Toronto that were making the film. The guys in the film, Ted Danson and Tom Selleck and Steve Guttenberg, those guys, they stepped up and they were in it and they were having fun on it. And every day, they were rocking every day. And they just managed to get good shit day after day after day. And Dad was really prepared. It was a great experience. And interestingly enough, I think that was the last thing that he talked about with the family before he passed away was his experience on that film.
Were those guys able to improv on set?
Yeah, they added a lot of their own,
Yeah.
stuff on set, let's say. Is that an inside joke?
No, well, he had.
Sorry.
That's cool.
Just
Mark,
rubbing it in.
Mark was brutally cut from a film because he was asked to improv and it just had a real rough time.
He just had a bad day.
Okay.
Mark Norman is a
sorry
very
about that.
funny guy and a very funny writer, but
Not off the cuff.
Just off the cuff, it was
He
an
kinda cracked
abomination
under
and
pressure.
humiliating.
So if
it's a little movie called Trainwreck that's going to do
Yeah.
big numbers in a couple weeks here. So, hey, 3 Men and a Baby, was that a ghost or not?
Oh, no, man, no ghost. I mean, first of all, it's a set. It wasn't a real apartment. It's a set. And number two, it was a stand-up full figure of Ted Danson, who was an actor.
I know,
in
but they won't leave it alone. They think it's a fucking ghost on set.
Whatever it works, whatever turns people on, man.
There you go. It's a kid, though. There's the picture.
It's a stand-up. This is what my old
Ghost
man told
Boy.
me. It's Ted Danson that they had a cutout because he was so narcissistic as an actor. He had pictures of himself everywhere.
Wow.
When he gets beat up at night, when he comes in and the other guys think he's like breaking into their apartment and they start to beat the shit out of him. He says, "Don't touch my face."
That doesn't look like Ted Danson. It looks like a Ghost Boy to me.
Yeah, well,
In Search of Ghost Boy.
Why is that in there? That's a good one. Why is it in there?
it's in there because
Someone
this
left
is
it
what
on
my
set.
dad told me was a stand-up that Ted Danson had pictures of himself everywhere on the set, and they had this cutout of him. I don't know.
That
Maybe
doesn't
you guys
look
are
like
right.
him, though.
Well.
It's Ghost Boy.
Okay, let's. I'll go back. Well, let's do an in search of. Okay, we got to revive the series.
And we found
find
another
out.
one. Swamp. What was it called? Swamp Monster.
Swamp
yeah, Swamp
Monsters.
Monster. That was a fill-in show.
Yeah.
Was there a time where your dad couldn't get work because he's so typecast? It's like hard when you see somebody as like such a I'm explaining typecast. So we don't know what it is.
In the 70s, this is what I'm saying. I mean, there's like, the guy that's why he wrote this book, I Am Not, which he miscalled I Am Not Spock, mistitled. It was not that easy for him to find work. I mean, he had a really stretch himself out a little bit, and that's why the theater work started coming in. He took it right away, but there was not a whole lot of TV that he was interested in, and there was no feature work really being offered to him at that time. And that's why, to challenge himself and keep himself going as an actor, he did all this theater. I mean, so much. Fiddler on the Roof, Man in the Glass Booth, the Equus, 6 Rooms Riverview, the Four Poster. I mean, all this stuff he was doing to keep himself going. And then in the 80s, the movies came in, and to challenge himself again, he agreed to come back as Spock, which he was willing to do, but he got behind the camera and started directing those things, using the leverage of saying, hey, I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to do it unless you give me this, the directing gig. Leverage is a big part of what Hollywood's all about, and he used it well, and he was, it turned out he was very talented at it, because Star Trek IV was one of the highest grossers of the whole original cast series of Star Trek films. So, and he was a very good director, and he taught me when I was becoming a director. He sat me down and gave me all the tools I needed, and some really, really, important stuff that I needed to know. Like, don't worry about where the camera goes. Worry about talking to your actors and figuring out what the scene is about. I mean, he really had a talent for storytelling, and that's something that he, shared with me, and something I really appreciate learning from him.
This is going to be a great documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
really
that it
is.
seems really honest.
Are you going to get JJ involved from the later Star Trek films, JJ Abrams?
Yeah, he's agreed to be interviewed for the film. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, so he's going
Cool.
to sit down with us and do on-camera stuff. The
And
thing
you got
is,
Zachary to narrate it.
Zachary's going to narrate it. I've got 10 years of experience.
He's the
cutting
new
film.
Spock.
So
Yeah,
he's
for
going
people that
to
don't
help me
know.
out with that, and it's going to be a great film because we're going to look at the life of Spock. We're going to look at the life of Leonard Nimoy and who he was before he came to Spock and what happened afterwards. And we're going to be, a lot of people told me I have to do it. Wasn't even thinking about this, but my story with my old man is going to be a part of that as well. The growing up with Star Trek, the loving the show from the very beginning and being on set all the time, becoming a teenager and having some conflict with him and working out our various substance issues and then coming back together again. People want to hear it, and I'm ready to tell it because of the fact it's a happy ending.
That's much more interesting to me than anything Star Trek oriented. Is that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And great news, we have raised $3,231.
Hey.
Oh, that's fantastic! Yeah, I mean,
that
go
right?
to Kickstarter, please. I need the fan
Can you
support.
refresh that? I hope we raise more than $3,000.
Hopefully raise more, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
It takes a while to refresh.
A little while, yeah.
That's what we tell ourselves.
It takes a little while to refresh.
Don't worry, it takes a little while for the counter to catch up.
We need the support. We're done at 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday the 1st, and it's over. I only need a little over $50,000 to go. If you're listening, I would appreciate any support you can. $5, you can pledge up to $10,000. Go to the Kickstarter page, look up For the Love of Spock, pledge what you can. Please do it now and not wait till the last minute. We need to get the $600,000 is really what I need to get the project done. It's a lot of complicated stuff. I got to license film clips of Star Trek, the movie, the original series. I got to license still photographs. I got to license film clips of Dad in TV shows. He did dozens of TV shows before he even got to Star Trek. All this stuff costs money. Then I got to be in the editing room with a guy for It's like 3 months before we have to deliver a cut of this film to the festival. We're trying to screen in film festivals next year, and we're trying to get it done in time for the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. So there's a lot of pressure on us. We need to do film score. We got to license film music. We got to get a sound editor.
Adam,
we got a lot to do.
Adam, relax. You're gonna get it. Okay?
Yeah.
Can I relax now, Matt?
You're panicking on us.
Okay.
You got this. We know this is just a fun interview. We got this.
Okay, cool.
You're gonna get the 600,000.
Thanks, Opie.
Maybe not
Thanks,
from
man.
us, but you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Because people really loved your dad.
I appreciate it.
And I like you, man. Adam, you're all right. You're well spoken. There's something
you.
in there that you said. Who's giving you a tough time with the clips? Anybody?
No,
Everyone's been cool?
No, the clips are all good. Everybody has given us permission to use the clips. It's that I have to deal with this corporate, these corporate guys who own them, and it's a business. And even though they're trying to work with me to give us, a discount because we need so many of these freaking clips, we need at least a half an hour.
Yeah,
they're helping us out to make it happen within our budget. But still, it still costs money.
Great. We got Shark Guy outside the studio.
We should break, maybe. Take a break.
I need to know. Favorite Dead song?
Oh man, favorite Dead song.
Touch of Grey, right?
Yeah, no, it's very obscure and
good. That'll make some Deadheads happy.
Okay, the song is called "Cold Rain and Snow." And it's what they did at Winterland in October of 1970, because they've done that show. They've done, obviously they do these songs over and over. They've done that song 200 or 300 times. But Winterland, October 1970, Cold Rain and Snow, that song just kicks ass. The whole band is completely behind it. There's only 2 chords in that song, but it rocks. Jerry just tears it apart at the solo. I love that song, Cold Rain and Snow, Winterland, October 1970.
See, you are like
wow, deadhead.
Because you did you collect the tapes?
I had the tapes in the
back in the day,
I have.
People would brag. I got I don't know.
Yeah, I got 42971, man, 5270. We had them all.
Certain dates were very hot.
Did you have more than
collect.
100 different shows?
Back then I didn't have more than, I probably had less. I had like 30, 40 shows maybe, and that was enough to keep me going.
Now you can get them so easily. There's got to be a way to grab them all online, right?
Yeah, they're on the line. There's Dick's Picks. They're all over.
Well, do you got Sirius XM?
I got it, baby.
They got the Grateful Dead channel.
Love it.
And they do a lot of those live shows.
Yeah.
Do they do a good job? I have no idea.
They do a really good job.
I go there from
David
time to time.
Lemieux and David Gans, those guys do a lot of the programming, and the show is incredible. They have complete shows that they pick that as their favorites, and Rob Bleedstein is on there, and he picks. He's got an incredible library and an encyclopedic knowledge of the Dead. It's really balanced between stuff that they radio stuff, record stuff, and shows. So they have a little something for everything for every Deadhead.
Right on.
Ever hear Casey Jones?
Yeah, that was the encore they played on Saturday night. Casey Jones, which was really cool.
They call that Beginner Dead.
Yeah. I only know two
Bruce
Dead
Hornsby.
songs, and I named them both.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, Bruce Hornsby sang Casey Jones. It was excellent. They were awesome. They're just an awesome band.
Adam Nimoy, a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And let's get
real.
Love of Spock on Twitter
Yes.
if you want to be involved on Twitter, or go to Kickstarter. This sounds like an awesome project.
It's going to do great. You're going to come back and promote on our show, right? We'll see you again.
Well, I hope so. When I have the film, I hope to come back, Opie. I really appreciate it.
Or just if you're in New York, stop on by and say hi.
Thank you.
All right,
That.
Adam Nimoy. We got Mark Norman in studio. And for Shark Week, we got Paul de Gelder. I believe it's the guy we talked to last time.
It is, yes. I will probably be gone.
What is that about?
I can't say what it is, but I have a fitting for a shoot. They have to fit me into clothes.
Are you going to be in The Love of Spock?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. What's your part?
And I'm probably playing some fucking creepy alien from Star Trek. So I guarantee I look like at least one mush that they fucking found on a planet. I've never seen all of them, so I'm sure I look like something they encountered and killed.
Eric?
We raised another $196.
100?
Hey.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I love it. I love it. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Adam Nimoy, everyone. 2 times in the show, and you move right up to the hosting seat. Nice. Justin Stengel in studio. Did you like the Adam Nimoy?
I did like the Adam Nimoy.
He was fun.
He was.
Well spoken. He had a tough time with his dad, as the rest of the world loved his father.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It's really sad when Star Trek is on everywhere in the world, And at any time of day, he could see his dad, and he just in watching that would think like everybody loves this guy, but he's not giving me the attention.
What do you think he wants to call that documentary?
It's
My
like
dad was a dick, but you guys all loved him, so so enjoy this.
Yeah,
Might be a little wordy, but
but that's the idea.
yeah.
Well,
I like that.
Spock didn't love me.
I liked Adam right away.
He was cool.
Yeah,
Good
he's
guy.
definitely cool. We got to get the shark guy in. He only has like 8 minutes with us, 10 minutes with us. I remember this guy from last year.
Yep.
He's hard to forget. Paul de Gelder. I remember you, Paul.
Yeah, I remember you too.
What's going on, buddy?
hey, Mark.
That's Mark Norman, a very
Nice to meet
funny
you.
stand-up comic. That's Justin Stengel. He's a geek. He worked on Letterman as a head writer for a long time with his brother Eric, who's in that corner.
Hello, how you
So
doing?
sit down, man.
Where do you want me?
Right here.
You got to explain the arm and the leg to Mark Norman. I know the story, but it's worth repeating, sir.
Rightio.
Boy, oh boy, that's exciting.
They have figured out the fake arm.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
And has it changed since last year?
No,
Was
it's
it
the
last
same
year
one.
or 2 years ago?
Last year.
Last year. So they didn't make any adjustments since last year in the
No.
technology?
The leg's different. I got a different leg now. It's pretty much the same one, but it's waterproof now.
Okay.
So while I can't dive with it because it's not waterproof at pressure, I
Right.
can go swimming now. So that's it just adds a whole element to my life. Now,
Wait, you could swim with a fake. How did?
well, this leg is electronic. It's got 6 microprocessors in it, accelerometers, gyroscopes, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And usually they're not waterproof because they're electronic.
Right,
So-
sure.
But this one's fully waterproof. So it changes I can go hiking and swimming and get out and keep hiking. I don't have to carry another leg with me, which sucked.
You have to set the leg when you know you're going to go swimming.
No, just
programming
no,
it.
Just get in.
Wow.
The technology is unbelievable. I saw someone walking down Columbus Avenue a year or two ago with the fake leg, and I was like, it blew my mind because it looked like it was a real leg. Just
Wow.
how they have it moving now and stuff.
Yeah. It's
Amazing
there's
technology.
No better time to be a amputee now.
Right.
If you've got the money.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because it's some expensive
But they never
stuff.
had the arm figured out. When I was growing up, I had a friend. His dad had the hook, and that's all he had was the
Right.
lousy fucking hook.
The hook,
He couldn't
yeah.
get anything done with
It's
that.
hard to
Right.
replicate a hand. You know, If
Yeah.
you're going to lose a limb, you don't want it to be a hand because you don't realize how useful they are and how complicated they are until you don't have it.
Right.
You know, imagine trying to use a dustpan and broom with one hand.
Right,
Like,
right.
It's just the tiny little things you don't think about that become so difficult.
But you could now move your fingers and everything. And
yeah. It's pretty good. It changes grip. Sometimes it's been playing up. Usually give it a little flick. No. Yep, there it goes. And it's got a beer drinking grip.
Wow.
If you're going to have a robot hand,
Yeah.
surely you got a beer drinking grip is essential.
Yes.
I don't know what else this grip is for. Maybe nipple gripples?
No, not on me. Not on me.
Or throwing up a gang sign? I don't know. I just use it for beer.
What kind of pressure could you really get on that hand?
Hard. Like if it gets you across the knuckles.
Ow. Yeah. It's got
It's
a
pretty
grip.
solid. So that's the man hand shaking
And
grip.
that was you really controlling the grip there.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
kept squeezing. Sorry.
Can it go harder?
It'll get to a certain point and it'll slow down and then it'll just keep going.
Yeah, no, that hurts.
All right, here's the dumb question. I'm sure you've been asked a lot. Does it start feeling like it's your original hand or arm?
Not really.
Not really, okay.
Because there's no sensation. There's no spatial awareness. You can't feel anything.
Right.
Right.
The more you use it, though, the more you learn how to use it.
Yeah.
And the more you implement in your life. I got used to not having a hand for a really long time.
Wait, how long didn't you have a hand for?
Probably the first year.
Okay.
And then when I did get the hand, it was quite fragile, and my life's pretty hectic. I went back to work as a Navy diver and an instructor, so I was snapping fingers off it.
Oh, my
I kept
God.
breaking it. I
Wow.
snapped it in half arm wrestling. So,
Mark, by the way, a shark did this to him.
I figured that.
I'm sure you figured out. You did the
I was like, wait, was that a Puerto Rican? What are we talking here? I couldn't figure it out.
a Navy diver, and he was on the job. I remember, and,
Yep.
and a shark came out of obviously pretty much nowhere. You didn't see the shark before
Didn't see it.
before it attacked you. I remember.
just came up from underneath, and I was on the surface on my back, and we were doing a counter-terrorism exercise. So I was in the water by myself, doing what we call finning. I had a pair of fins on, and I was just kicking along with my hand by my side, and the shark came up from underneath me, grabbed my hand and my hamstring all in one bite, and just ripped it out. Came within a millimeter of severing my femoral artery. And if that had happened, I would have bled out and died before I'd even got out of the water. Wow. So I'm super lucky. The guys in the safety boat pulled me in and saved my life, basically.
And I
Oh,
remember
my
this
God.
from the last time we talked. He decided to have his leg amputated.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I had it for a week, but day by day the foot was looking darker, and the shark had removed the hamstring and the 25 centimeters of the big nerve in your leg too.
Uh-huh.
So not only could I not feel it, I couldn't move it. And the
wow.
doctor basically gave me a choice, and he said, you can keep the leg, but it's going to be useless, and you'll carry it around like a lump of wood. Your life will suck. You'll never run.
Yeah.
Or we can remove it, and you can be walking, possibly running on a prosthetic within 12 months. And I was doped to the eyeballs. I'm on morphine, I'm on ketamine. So I looked at him and I said, Doc, you just take my leg and turn me into a Terminator.
Yes.
Wow. And he's in better shape than all of us.
I know. You look amazing.
I don't want to hear any excuses from anyone about that they can't get back, can't get in good shape.
I hate to one up you here, but when I was in college, I tore my scrotum.
Oh.
And it turned black.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah, but I kept them. I didn't cut those off. Yeah.
Good plan.
How'd you tear your scrotum?
I got into a fist fight and I was losing, and so I tried to jump a fence. I was in a backyard, and the fence had spikes, and I just so drunk I just straddled it, and then I fell. I rolled off, and it caught me, and that was it.
That was it for the scrotum for a while.
Yeah, I went to work the next day, showed my boss, and I got off work.
How big did the scrotum get? Did it swell up?
It swelled up, and I saw a ball. I actually saw the inside. It was crazy. It looks like a peach pit.
I prefer sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got it sewn up. I had to wear a jockstrap for a month.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, good times.
Paul, we only have you for a few minutes because, it's Shark Week, so you're in high demand here.
Yep, we're rolling around all week. We've got my show, Brighter Jaws, coming out on Tuesday at 9, I believe. Obviously, it's the best show on Shark Week.
Sure.
And we went out hunting for this massive, the biggest tagged great white in Australia. The tag had gone down. No one could find her. So we went out hunting for her using all of this cool equipment, fin cams, and we actually dangled Andy out over the back of the boat trying to get this fin cam on, which was just stupid because some of these sharks were jumping half their body out of the water, like over near the other boat. So anyway, he's still alive.
How big?
Like the one we're looking for is 18 foot.
Woo.
So she's massive.
Do you have a vendetta? Do you want to fucking kill these bastards?
Nah, they're just
be honest, you punched
amazing
one.
animals. I punched the one while it was
Yeah.
attacking me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Does that work? They always say punch in the nose.
It didn't do anything.
It's enough.
Nothing. But that's what I hear too. But
Yeah.
it didn't do anything. So anyway, we went out on this crazy mad adventure. I nearly got eaten again.
Oh, why?
I thought it'd be a good idea to get in a red kayak with all these gigantic great white sharks around. So I was trying to get the fin
God.
cam on the shark because we'd been trying for hours, couldn't get it on. So I'm desperation. I get into this red kayak.
Why pick red?
Yeah.
It was the only one that was there, but that was a bad idea. Needless to say, the kayak did not survive.
The dead seal kayak wasn't available?
No.
You got video of that?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I'm watching.
Yep. As soon as Andy got in the cage, we had this crazy little one-man cage that was dangling off the back of the boat by like rope. Because obviously sharks can't bite through rope. And we had these floats on the side that for some reason were covered in this furry black thing. Doesn't look like a dead seal at all, does it?
Right.
So one of the sharks decided it was going to eat the float. If it had actually eaten another one, Andy would have sunk to the bottom.
Wow.
Man.
So it was intense.
Kayak is scary too because you flip over in that thing and you're just stuck in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it didn't last very long.
What's the deal with the sharks? I mean, they don't really like eating us, right? They bite and then realize, oh, this is shitty meat, and then they move on in general.
Exactly, and that's why you don't hear about people getting eaten, so
Right.
to speak. They get bitten.
They'd have to, do they have to be really desperate to actually keep eating you?
Yeah, really hungry. One of the theories goes that they're old or sick and they just can't go fast enough to catch the fish or catch the seal. So out of desperation, they go for whatever they can get. And, it's really sad that has to happen, but we are extremely delicate animals.
We have to wrap, unfortunately, because you're very busy. But quickly, with all the shark attacks down there in North Carolina, what do you have any idea what that's about? Why it seems like there's more, especially in that area?
Look, I don't know the details specifically of the area, the shark history, or anything like that. It could be a fact that a lot of sharks are in the area and they're breeding and they're feeling aggressive. And when when sharks mate, they bite each other and hold on and things like that. So it could
They
be.
seem like lovely creatures, these
could be-
sharks, huh?
Yeah, right.
But it could be murky water. It could be an early or late in the afternoon. The visibility's low, and they're just confused. You know, they're not super complicated, smart animals. Their brains are quite small.
One theory that I saw was that they were going after sea turtles or sea turtle eggs.
Could be.
Yeah. So, and there were 6 attacks in North Carolina.
Yeah. So we last summer we closed down one of the beaches for 10 days. Just be smart about it. Stay out of the water for a little while, and you'll be fine.
And stop
Yeah.
looking like a sea turtle.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
How about a salad every once in a while?
Fucking violets.
Whatever that means. Paul, thank you. They're saying you got to go. I could certainly
no
talk to you
worries.
longer. So the show's what time? And
Tuesday
Thank
on
you.
Discovery Channel.
Tuesday,
Yep,
Discovery
9 p.m.
Channel, 9 p.m. I'm watching. I like Paul de Gelder.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You got to awkwardly
Get out of here.
Yeah, because we just took a break. So
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks.
Shake.
See you later.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Squeeze it hard this time.
Take it easy.
That's the girl grip.
All right, appreciate it.
That was he gave you the girl grip.
Yeah, it was still pretty hard.
The girl grip.
Thought that was a solid grip.
He is a bad motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yeah, what a hard
shit,
ass.
he's a
I wouldn't
piece-
go anywhere if a shark attacked me.
No.
No.
You stay home forever.
I wouldn't go to a pool. I wouldn't take a bath. I certainly wouldn't be going back in with the sharks.
No.
I would guarantee that he has punched someone with that fake fucking fist.
yeah.
Man, it's sad.
One
that
guy that's just being a wise ass at a bar got a fucking
Black fist of fury. Sorry.
Yes.
He squeezed my hand right across the knuckle like it
Yeah.
was like a clamp.
That hurt.
It did hurt.
How do you? I don't understand that. So you're using your bicep, I would assume,
I
to
assume
get
so.
you could squeeze the fake hand.
It was
Yeah.
beeping too, so whatever muscles are controlling it, there's some computer doing something in
the
there.
beeping's like, no, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But when he was adjusting his arm to make it do the beer grip where
Yeah.
it opened up to the
Yeah.
size of a beer, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Badass.
That's badass.
What? Just drink the beer with your left hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark was with me.
Also, imagine that guy at TSA. That's got to be a bitch.
Imagine being behind him.
Yeah. All right, let me take my leg off and
Hey,
put it in the bin.
Sir, you mind if I get in
Yeah.
front of you? My flight's leaving in 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So you were talking about you knew a guy with a hook hand?
Yeah, my brother's friend's father.
When Eric and I were young, our parents took us ice skating, and there was like a guy ice skating with like his wife or whatever, and the guy's like, they're like, and skating and we're gonna fall. But the guy had a hook hand. Eric and I were whipping around the ice, and as the guy was losing his balance, he was waving the hook hand around and literally,
Jesus.
like, almost took my eye out.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, if you have a hook hand, don't be like, oh, I'm going to learn how to ice skate today.
Yeah.
That's 40 people.
Hey, that's hook shaming. Do not hook shame.
Sorry.
No hook shaming here. Did we do it? What else were we supposed to talk about? The Paris Hilton thing.
You saw.
I think it's fake, to be honest with you.
It's fake.
Or she would be suing the fuck out of everybody.
We have a video we've been trying to get to for a few days.
We've
Which
got the
one?
Francesa clip.
Oh, is Sam around? That's a Sam bit. Is Sammy around? Sammy! Where's Sam?
Oh, he's running. Here
He's
he
running.
comes.
He's running.
Do you?
He's on his way.
Do you like the Mike Francesa?
I love Francesa.
Who's that?
You?
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
He does sports talk.
He's New York's #1.
Oh, Francesa.
Mike Francesa.
Yeah, he's good.
This video is called 97-year-old Mike Francesa. He explains what an emoji is.
Oh, fun.
Now, I'm so glad we finally, because I didn't know what an emoji was. Now I do.
Well, yeah.
I was waiting for is he His Highness? What is his nickname?
The Pope. Sports Pope.
I was
Well, he's
waiting for
also-
the sports pope to tell me.
He's just a minister of information at this point. He's had so much life experience. He knows about everything.
Yeah.
Me and Sam especially can't get enough of Mike Francesa clips.
All right.
Can't get enough. And Sam, not a huge sports fan in general, getting better, but
I barely
listens
even
to
watch-
Mike Francesa every day because he's such an asshole.
I barely even watch sports, but I'll be driving home and I'll turn on the fan if I find out that Mike Francesa is on, just because I want to hear a caller get through, want to hear him get mad about something unnecessary.
Right.
By the way, speaking of sports, I want to acknowledge Brian Harmon, who had another fine tournament in the PGA. Now, certainly not all the big guns were playing this past weekend, but certainly enough were. And Brian Harmon, who's been a fan of the old show, the new show, and every show in between, big fan of this program, did all right. I think officially came in third, one stroke out.
That's pretty good.
They had a playoff yesterday. He went birdie, and look on the 18th green was like, fuck, because he knew he was one stroke off of getting in the playoff. That who won? Bubba Watson won.
Right. Birdie. Tweet that out, am I right?
But Harmon Bryan on Twitter is he's one of us. He's one of us. He's a fan of the show, and he does very well on the PGA from time to time. So, but that has nothing to do with Mike Francesa.
No, which is why I don't understand why it would even be addressed.
I apologize. Let's get right into 97. They, like I said, it's labeled 97-year-old Mike Francesa explains what an emoji is.
I don't know if that's factually correct, but I think he's about there.
You know that I had numerous opportunities to watch this video, and I chose not to because I wanted to watch it cold.
Oh, it's terrific. I've watched it many, many times.
Tim in Connecticut. What's up, Tim?
Yeah, how you doing? All he ever does is talk about Wally back.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
That's what it's all about, but that's okay. He's allowed.
Nice to have you on Fox Sports 1 today. That's a good surprise.
Thank you.
I'm going to get to that in a second. Well, can I ask you a quick question here? I keep on hearing yesterday and all day today the stupid emoji or whatever. What the heck is that? Does that have something to do with the Twitter?
It has something to do with Chevrolet.
A Chevrolet?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's a Chevy commercial.
I can't figure it out.
What is an emoji?
Yeah, what the heck is it?
It's a little thing on your computer. Yeah, you know the little guy. Like if you get somebody sends you a message. Do you have a text message?
Do you have a text message?
All right. When someone sends you like a thumbs up or something like that.
Yeah.
You know how someone does that? That's an emoji.
Oh, so there's like a whole screen you push the buttons or something?
No, that thing is called an emoji. That little thing you see is an emoji.
All right, sorry to waste your time on that.
Well, no, listen. I mean, they're paying for you to ask that question, you know.
Oh, so I guess it's working then,
It did. You felt they love you now because they actually got you to think about the emoji. They're happy.
What? Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Maybe they should pay me for it then.
No, they're not going to do that. They pay me for it. They're not going to pay you.
All right, he's a sham. Because
the caller, you mean?
Mike Francesa. Because if the emoji wasn't attached to his sponsor, he would have been fucking livid that guy was asking about emojis.
I have to tell you something. The guy asking about the emoji,
yeah,
I believe is a very well disguised Mongo. I think he was strictly calling up to upset Mike just there.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
But it didn't work because it's his sponsor.
Well, it's also because Mike Francesa had such a strong hold on exactly what it was an emoji is.
Right.
You know, a thing on the computer box on the screen.
Yeah. Do you have one of those? What do you say? Texting?
He said, "Do you have a text message?"
You can tell he's an angry guy because the guy calling in was like, "I'm sorry to waste your time." He's terrified.
Yes. That's it's a good Mike Francesa clip, but they get way better than that, Mark. They get way better than that. Yes.
Yeah, I'll check him out.
Some of our favorites is when he talks about his snowblower. He's really into his snowblower. If you want to look this up after the show,
I will.
If you think he likes emojis, wait till you hear his passion for snow blowing.
He falls asleep on the air in front of everyone because his show is simulcast to TV.
Look, so I wasn't asleep.
He falls asleep to the point where his head hits the mic like this. Boom, his glasses hit and they're all askew. And then he wakes up and then he'll deny for the next 2 months that he didn't fall asleep.
Look, I wasn't sleeping. I've been doing this for 30 years. If you want to highlight 10 seconds of it, then go ahead. But I don't know why you would do that. Next caller.
But then he sort of admitted that he stays up late and doesn't get a lot of sleep. So he almost admitted it.
He's got a lot of games to watch.
Yeah, right.
He's a sports pope.
He almost admitted that he does fall asleep.
He's got like overnight tennis or whatever he's got to watch.
But there's a whole bunch of guys out there that just call every day to try to get under his skin. And every once in a while,
the Mongos.
They're called the Mongos, and every once in a while,
that's right.
Every once in a while, they get gold. Because Mike will lose his mind.
It's not even every once in a while. Like, it just happens to be every once in a while they get caught on YouTube. Pretty much
every day,
several times a week. Yeah, you get a great Mike Francesa moment. Even if it's not even like intentional, like even if he's not upset, just listening to him explain that when his wife gave birth, he said, I don't understand this paternity leave. When my wife gave birth, you'd go down. She gave birth in the morning. You come do the show. You do the show after. What do I got to stay there for?
Yeah, maternity leave for the guys is kind of...
Yeah.
I'm with Mike on that one.
That's a dick move, man.
Right.
Because your wife's in the hospital. She's good. She's good for a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what? You're telling your boss you can't come in?
Especially if you've got a very important sports radio show that people are depending on you to be there for.
Right.
I understand using it as an excuse. Like, hey, boss, my wife had a kid. I think I'm going to take the day. But you don't go to your boss and say, I'm going to be on maternity leave because my wife just had a kid. There's a way to say it, is what I'm saying.
Technically, a man should probably say paternity leave, but that's my favorite when a man would say maternity. I usually
have they turned it into paternity leave, because for a while they absolutely would say maternity leave.
Yeah, any man who says maternity leave would probably
any
be,
man that says maternity leave or paternity leave should, that's embarrassing. Just tell your boss, look, I think I'm going to take a day. I get days I decided to take today.
Or you come in, you do the show. It happened in the morning, you do a show in the afternoon.
Right. Who's on your show today, Sammy?
Victor Garber.
No idea.
Oh, he's good.
He was the.
How do I know Victor Garber?
Wow. He was the voice of the narrator on a little show called The Slap.
Okay. You got him.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a big get for the Sam Roberts Show on this channel at noon today.
And assuming he's on time, which is not an assumption that will be fair to make, DJ Who Kid is scheduled to be on the show.
He was partying with Roland and Giggles.
Giddles. How do you not know Giddles?
Skittles. What is his name?
He's the biggest celebrity on the channel right now.
Giddles. Taking Sherrod Small's money.
That's right. We had to send him to Florida and get him fed.
I'm trying to get Sherrod a little money because he's really stepped up and helped us out here. And,
is that right?
And Giddles,
at the time of his life in Florida, covering the Florida SuperCon for this channel.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the coverage was, right here on this channel.
We don't even know Giddles. That's the problem. He's not even really.
He sounds like a weird clown.
Yeah, he's not a broadcaster.
Oh, okay.
In any way, shape, or form.
He looks like Fidel Castro.
Oh, that's a good look.
He really does look like a young Fidel Castro, and he was smoking a Cuban down there in Miami with Roland, I believe.
Oh, nice.
A lot of people don't know this. The reason Giddles has a job here, he deserves it. He's E-Rock's friend.
Yeah.
So you can see where...
If you're friends with E-Rock, if you're friends with E-Rock, they fly you all nice down to like Miami for a few days.
And
pick up the tab.
I know for a fact that there's no sort of bashfulness whatsoever, because I was talking to Who Kid last night on the phone, and he said that when Roland and Giddles were hanging out with him in Miami, that as much debauchery as Who Kid has gotten into and not gotten in trouble for, he said the promoters were pissed because Roland ordered $600 worth of food.
$600.
$100.
What does that entail?
I don't know.
Shrimp and lobster? What's he eating?
Roland's slowly making his way down the hall.
Boy.
I confronted Roland about it, and he said, he said I could eat whatever I wanted. He said I could have whatever I wanted.
$100?
$100.
The boss will take the guys out to eat. The boss, Jesus, did I really say that? What an idiot I am. The overseer of the channel.
Disrespectful
and Roland
addition.
will make it really hurt, and he'll order 2 entrees right in front of his fucking face.
The maddest that I ever saw Don Wickling get at Roland was when Don decided he was going to be a nice guy and bring all the staff out to Chipotle.
Hey, no guacamole.
Roland decides to order 2 burritos and have one in a to-go bag. And he doesn't say anything, and Don pays for the whole thing at the end. And we're all sitting there as a group and as a team, and we're all eating lunch. And like halfway through, Don just realizes what's happened, and he looks and he goes, "Roland, what's in that bag?" And Roland goes, the burrito for later.
What about Montreal?
Yes.
In Montreal. In Montreal, Roland had some kind of vendetta. I don't remember what it was, but we went to like a fancy steak dinner, and Don got
I was there.
The bill. Yeah.
That was the 2 entree meal.
Don got the bill, and Roland ordered. He wanted I believe it was 2 steaks.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes.
And then at the end of the dinner, he did not eat the second one, so he just sent it back.
What?
No, he said, you could bill me for it. I don't need it to go. You just send it back.
Wow.
I touched it, though. I was like, it's cooked right.
Yeah. You didn't eat it, and you didn't take it with you.
No.
You paid for it and just sent it back.
Don Wickling paid for it.
I'm sorry, Don Wickling paid for it, and you just returned it.
You know, ordered 3 desserts.
For nothing.
3 desserts.
So I could taste each one.
Oh, my God.
Take it away from me.
He didn't eat all 3 desserts, but he certainly tasted each one.
No, but
You're like a
DJ
gay king.
Yeah. But Who Kid said, "Oh, dude, order whatever you want." I said, "Listen, order the whole menu. I don't give a fuck." I was like, "All right."
Damn.
He tested the level to which Who Kid did not give a fuck.
$600.
Well, then there's booze, and I haven't drank in a while, but you know what? This $40 drink looks delicious to me. Bring a couple of them.
There was a $40 drink.
Yes.
How big was
the
it?
fuck's in the $40 drink?
It's like a really high-end restaurant. It's like I got
like these Thai lobsters, and then there was like duck fat French fries, and then there was.
So this is $600 in one sitting.
Well, I think because between
it's not
me and Giddles,
spread out over a day. Or
Well, you're
2
not
days.
factoring in Giddles.
Oh, I forgot Giddles.
Because and then Giddles go, well, if Roland did it. Like Eric ordered the burger, and Giddles and I were like, no, I got the lobster, the pasta, the steak. I tried a whole bunch of things.
You have to.
It was delicious.
And how big was the $40 drink? Was it like one of those goblets or like a water glass?
No, it's like maybe like an 8.5 ounce.
Was it served out of Leonard Nimoy's skull? Hey, $40.
But after my fourth one, I go, do you know what? Yeah, it's delicious.
What?
And that's $160.
Good math.
Thank you.
Well,
4, 8, 12. Yeah, that's
because
Thank you.
I could tell when the bill was big when the guy goes, DJ Hookie, can I talk to you about the bill? And whoa.
Your impression of DJ Hookid feels racist to me.
I got it.
Hilarious.
I thought it was sort of dead on.
Yeah, I thought he was in the room. I thought he was in the room for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe I was
I was like, oh, DJ Who Kid's here. Let's ask him what happened.
He told me, he goes, come, order whatever you want, and enjoy yourself. And I had a blast with him.
Wow.
It was a great time.
Wait, you could get a steak as an add-on to your steak?
Yeah.
Did you guys discuss this? I tapped out for a second. Jimmy
Steak on top of
texted me.
steak.
No.
It's called the Kirstie Alley.
It says, let's get the steak add-on. It's only $20. So you order a steak, and then you could add on a $20 steak?
In case you need a second steak, you see.
Yeah, it's like a win-win.
But is that like is that for 2 people or is that a steak with a side of steak?
I think it's
Depends
a
on who's
steak.
paying.
I think it's a steak, and one of the sides is steak.
More steak.
Yeah. Yes.
I
That's
got
what
steak skewers.
So is that
I'm having a stroke for a second.
I need a
It's
poncho.
like H Flaming. It's like $80, whatever. Like, I'll take one of those bad boys.
Oh, no. Eric's now here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but he ordered reasonably.
Eric, you want to add to this?
We heard you got the burger.
Add to the Skittles guy, or whatever his name is.
His name is Giddles,
I
and
know
he's
his
a
name is Giddles.
celebrity on the channel.
He looks like a young Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture again
Gills
here.
and I,
That's
we
why I'm
ate all
repeating
over
it.
Florida. It was very delicious. Cuban holes in the walls, little Havana,
We ate all over.
all over Florida. Yeah.
We 8 holes on the wall.
You want to add to any of this there, Roland? I mean, E-Rock?
Yeah,
what Roland did? Sorry.
The dinner that we were invited to was this very posh restaurant that was like hidden under the hotel. If you didn't know it was there, you'd never see it. And Who Kid goes, no, order whatever you want. And Who Kid ordered like 3 appetizers. And we're like, oh, okay. But we didn't realize that the 3 appetizers was Who Kid's meal. That's all he was having, these little portions. Roland got some kind of lobster pasta,
Delicious.
steak skewers for the appetizer, some weird expensive drink. I don't even remember what it was.
Fantastic.
He said it was $40.
Yeah,
Oh my
40,
God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, Roland could not have been happier. He was sampling from other plates these expensive seasoned Brussels sprouts.
Oh, yeah. That, octopus risotto was out of this world.
Yeah, that too.
And what did
I just had the fork because I go, it's too rich. I pushed it away.
what did Giblets get?
He had
His name is Giddles.
Giddles. Sorry. Giddles.
He had just as much as I did. We both went to the. It was very delicious.
All right.
Yeah, Roland and Gills took full advantage of being in Miami.
Yeah, I heard Eric did not party.
No.
The party was all Giddles and Roland.
Oh, wow.
Having a good old time.
Who's who?
They had cigars. They were walking around topless on the beach. Roland staring at women and not paying attention, and walked into the ocean still in his shorts, shoes, and socks.
It's amazing how much time you guys had to pull this stuff off on this work trip.
Doesn't change. Goes to the con, still covered in ocean
incredible.
water.
Yeah, Roland, you walking into the ocean just looks like a suicide attempt more than swimming.
Wow, Roland enjoyed himself.
Oh, had a good time.
Were you supposed to be? Were you needed down there?
Obviously, right?
Once we were at the con, he was.
The answer is I was approved.
You were approved.
That's the fallback. That's the old blame somebody else, you know.
Once we were at the con, Roland was actually very busy. He was coordinating the guests, getting releases, scheduling people who were supposed to be there, and trying to patch holes when people didn't show up, when we got stood up by guests.
He had to patch the holes. He ate them.
So why was Whittles there?
His name, Opie, is Giddles, and he's a
But
celebrity.
what did he do down there?
He was actually filling it. Matt was supposed to go, my co-host.
What do you mean, what was he doing? He was the talent. He's Giddles.
Giddles, right.
How do you not know your own talent on your own channel? Giddles is a big star.
I gave away too many shows at this point. I can't keep track anymore.
Yeah.
Who was the biggest guest at the con?
Giddles.
Oh,
It was
wow.
Giddles, yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Who was the biggest guest? That's a good question.
Biggest
by Mark.
guest for me was Paul McGann, who played one of the doctors from Doctor Who. But I guess, at least as far as the crowds go, Max Hernandez, who's on this show called The Last Ship on TNT, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was on Walking Dead as well. Emily DeRaven had a huge crowd for Lost, and she was on Once Upon a Time.
Boy, you can almost hear the hymens growing back.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are just guests that you cannot come by here in New York City.
Right.
All right.
Sounds like a bull.
Sounds like you guys had fun in Miami.
I
Next
love
trip
the
is
beach.
next trip is San Diego.
San Diego.
And I hear, why are you bragging about a $2,500 fucking plane ticket?
That's news to me, too. That's news to me, too.
Yeah, my plane ticket was $600. It wasn't $2,500.
Someone tweeted that they asked you about the $2,100 or $2,500 plane ticket.
No, it was $600. So
for San Diego?
Mm-hmm. Round trip.
When are you guys going?
We leave Wednesday.
This Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Jesus.
Just in time for you to get back on the air.
Oh, are we going? Oh, yeah. You're
yeah.
You have 3 shows.
People's side shows have become way more important than the quote main show around here.
Opie, when I ate the fried pork and the rice, I thought about you. I was like, I think Opie might like this food.
I would have liked that. You should have brought some home.
I ate it.
All right.
Delicious.
Is that it from Miami?
Yeah, most of the time. And then they went to the club right after. Who Kid had this entourage and that walked everybody right down to the stage. Who Kid set up and he's spinning and whatever. And Giddles and Roland are there's a private bartender, so they're getting free drinks. They're waving and fist pumping to the crowd. And then I got to the point where it was too loud for me and it was getting late. I said I got to go back. I had stuff to do, so I left. And these two guys, I guess, didn't get home till like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and then went to the beach.
Yeah, they went to the beach out hammered after the club. They stumbled out on the beach.
So Diddles is a fan of this.
His name is Giddles.
Diddles is a fan of this type of music.
He's just a fan of a good time. Opie.
I think so.
Yeah, Who Kid throws a good party.
Were you in his way though? I have a feeling Roland was in the
No,
kid's
actually,
way.
Roland was kind of tucked off to the back. He was staying very close to the personal bartender.
Yeah, so I go one more, just like let's
Leaning
find
on the
out.
back, out of the way, behind a speaker, not causing a fuss. But Roland had a good time.
Some of these interviews will be on your show Friday.
They aired this weekend. It's going to air again this Friday with some other interviews that we haven't aired.
And you just put up the Mark Maron podcast. The podcast. I think it's time to leave. I think it's time to leave if I'm saying podcast.
Yes,
the podcast.
There's
the Mark-
2 new podcasts up. There's one, Mark Maron, who came in last week talking about his interview with the President of the United States, and also a Piers Morgan / X-Pac podcast is up there with their stories.
Yeah, we need more people to subscribe to the old podcast.
Links are on our Twitter, Opie and Jimmy. Same with our Facebook, Opie and Jimmy. Subscribe on iTunes. Leave a review or a comment or something like that, because that helps boost your ratings with however their system goes. As long as you comment, whatever you say helps us push up our
even
numbers.
the
and all
shitty
that.
comments?
Even the shitty, because people are contributing. No, don't say that, because now you're going to
because they can't help themselves, so it might as well work in our favor.
Well, now you just opened the doors and said, go for it.
Yeah, Jews are gross. That'll get something cooking.
All right, cool.
So, those 2, and then a new podcast on Thursday.
And I think that might be
Freeway Rick Ross,
which, by the way, the video of is already on my YouTube channel, OP Radio. Go
also
check that
up
out
on the show's Twitters and Facebook.
That was an amazing fucking time. The guy that's pretty much responsible for cocaine, Mark, in the 80s.
Crack.
Oh, wow.
Crack cocaine. Pretty much, he's the one. He was sitting right where Justin is.
Wow.
He's a fascinating individual, to say the least.
Not Justin. Rick Ross.
Rick Ross.
And he was in prison, life without parole.
20 years he served.
He served 20 and figured out that they were wrong about his sentencing.
Well, he couldn't read or write, learned to read and write,
and then realized the lawyers fucked up his case, and he figured out the loophole.
Yeah.
And got out after 20 years when he was supposed to be there for life.
Holy shit.
It's an amazing story, for real.
So check the video on Opie Radio on YouTube. The podcast this Thursday will have the entire interview, and you can get his book on Amazon as well.
Well,
Nice.
Yeah, I had to pay $20. He had books after the interview, and Bob Kelly started it. He panicked and gave the guy $50, thinking the guy was going to do the right thing and search out change, but just kind of took his $50. And Bobby was not brave enough to say, "Hey, how about some change?" I think it was a quick thank you from Rick Ross, and Bobby was like, "All right, I guess that 50's done."
Oof.
And then I was right behind him, and I was able to get a book for 20.
They were scared.
Yeah.
A little scared.
I don't blame him.
A little scared.
Take your toys home. Go home.
Yeah, Mark Norman, thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me. Fun times.
We got to get you in here on a more frequent basis. But what do we got? I know you're promoting
This damn Southern tour is going to kill me.
July 10th, Theater 99 in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
And then July 11th, Funny Business at the Mill Room in Asheville, North Carolina. Isn't that close to Dr. Steve?
It's not that far.
It's close, though, right?
Yeah.
You'll probably see this weird fucking guy.
Great.
With glasses and a haircut
staring at you from the back of the room.
Yeah.
And a haircut that was popular probably 25 years ago. So
basically Jeffrey Gurian.
The southern version. The southern version of him, yeah.
All right, cool.
But he's a good dude.
Yeah, but,
All right.
He looks a little
Gurian's
strange, but he's a
cursed.
good dude. Funny Business Mill Room in Asheville, North Carolina. That's on the 11th of July. And then July 12th, Open Chord Music in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Norman is a hilarious dude, man.
Hey, big fan. Thanks for having me.
Mark Norm on the Twitter. All right. And I think that's it. See you tomorrow.